In this lesson, we are going to work on validation. So when we click on create, for example, in this case, we can see that a blank title and content has been saved. If I go into the database and I have a look at post database, scroll down, we can see the title is empty and only publish and created has record in it. So let's delete this and come back in here. Alright, so we are going to prevent that from happening. This here is our new, so I'm going to go to model, post, and down here we can say validates. Validates, so this is looking for a field in a database. So in this case we want to validate our titles field, and we want to say the presence has to be true. Okay, copy this down here and change title to content. Okay, so we have title, content, and we have publish. So I'm just going to duplicate this and change this to publish. Alright, so now we have three validated fields. They all have to be present, have values. Alright, so let's see how this works. So now if we click on create post, you can see that we have there was a problem creating this post. Alright, so that means that this part of the code did not work, this part worked, so we know the save did not happen. Alright, but this is not good enough. We want to show some validation errors. Now we have done this, we've done this before. So if I go into moderators, edit, so this here is the validation that we need to copy over. So rather than copying and pasting the same code many times, what we can do is create what is called partials, okay, so that they can be shared by both new and edit. So partials, we can create that by going into our views, going to in our views folder, going to admin, and within our admin folder I'm going to create another folder called applications. So now anything we put in application actually is going to be picked up. So in application we create partials with underscore. So if I say underscore and type a name, so it's very important to write underscore first. That's how Rails knows you're writing a partial, a bit of code that you can reuse in other views. Okay, so now we can cut this code from moderators edit and we can paste it here. So we want this code to be used by different controllers, so we are going to make a few changes to it. So here we are going to type in render, and then we reference validation errors. Now because this is in application folder, so by the way, make sure you don't add an underscore here, so leave it like this. We define it with an underscore and we call it without one. So this will find our validation errors from application folder, okay, because it's that's where it is. Alright, so we want to pass in our instance variables to our validation. Okay, so we could do that by giving a named argument and pass this instance into the object. So we can come in here, select all the instance variables called moderator and remove them and replace them with object. So now we can use these validation errors in any controller, and we just simply pass in the right instance variable. So here I'm going to change this to make it more generic. So we can delete that and we can say prohibited a successful save. Alright, so we have completed that. So we can have a look and see this working in moderators before replicating it. So I come over here, I remove full name, and I try to update, and we have validation displayed. So it works. Alright, so now we know it works. We can copy it over and go to our new posts. Okay, and come over here, paste it in here. Actually, I'm going to put it within a paragraph. Okay, the same thing, what we now need to do is pass in our posts into object. Okay, so this is the few things we are always going to do every time we reuse this. So I'm just going to do the same here, put a P around it. Alright, so that's it. Exactly the same validation error is being used by edit and new. The only difference is that we are passing in a moderator when we use it in the moderator controller, and we're passing post when we use it in the post controller. So let's give it a go. If we're going to posts, and I try to create a new post, and I try to create here, we see we have 3 validation errors. Alright, so that's good. So let's give it a try and try and add title and see what happens if the errors decrease and it goes down to 2 errors. That's good. And we do this here and it goes down to just 1 error. And okay, so this obviously publish can be empty because that means it's false. You don't want to publish it. So checking it is true, unchecking it should be false. So publish doesn't really require a validation. Alright, so what we could do is simply go into our model and get rid of publish. Alright, so let's go into our new post, and now we should have just 2 validation errors. Okay, and a title, and we should have just 1 validation error. And if we entered the content and submit, so now everything should work. Okay, and publish is pending. Alright, so that's pretty much what we want to do, and we can come back into specification, failure to fill in the fields, results in validation error. Publish, yep, this is fine, it's false. Okay, so we have done a few things, we've learned a few things. This is also done. Our moderator has an option, so yes, you can select multiple tags. This is also done. Alright, in fact, I think everything is done in Create. Okay, so we have the update to do next, and we have the delete to do, and we've covered a few things in this lesson which you can revise. We've covered using partials, and this partial worked straight away because it's an application folder. Sometimes you could have a partial that you want to use only on posts, so that way we'll come across something similar to that very soon. Alright, I'll see you in the next lesson.